easy for me to point out the good ones, but when they're just looking at you like this when you walk into the yard. Boxes of bees, they can't hide. Oh, heavy as a stone. But I have to confirm their weight. I might get a little more feed into them yet. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so this one is a box of bees, obviously. I'll show you. Look at that. They're sure slow. This one beside it is a nuke that we transferred in, 5-frame nuke. We developed that out in August, so it's going to be really small. Let's just see how small it is. I was afraid when we transferred it, it was a little cooler, just to help with the robbing pressure. Oh good, we didn't have any robbing on it. So they're a little bit smaller in there. 1, 2, 3, 4.5 frames of bees. Hopefully they've had enough time to be able to develop out a brood nest. So there's caution on those ones. But a nice, young, vigorous spark of a queen. So that's going to help through the winter. So we put those 5s into that deep equipment and we added honey to the side. And I was afraid that was going to stimulate robbing, but obviously it hasn't. It's been terribly windy the last couple of days here. Here's another nuke that I put in. Let's take a look. Not as big. I mean, it come from a 5-frame box, so what I expect, 5 frames of bees. But they haven't been robbed out either, so that's good. Let's take a look at these two. I think this one was really pissing me off all season. It was queenless and it went through a queen replacement and then it produced a bit of honey, then it went through another queen replacement. So I'm like, what is going on? Let's see how it actually settled out here. You're heavy. And looks like she's settled into a great big box of bees. So all that fuss and bother, hopefully they don't piss around next year. What's your neighbor doing here? Neighbor's the same. So that's what I'm seeing quite consistently. I'm not finding too many blank spots. Not seeing where I've missed my assessment too often. The trick is to call out all the problem colonies so then you're left with all the good ones, right? And I think I've been able to do that because I'm not finding too many. Let's just random pick here. Let's see what this one's like. I'm cracking these boxes just before I load them, so they're going to be a little bit pissy. Random assessment's important though, so you know what's going on. I think my feed program followed through. I spent a lot of money and a lot of time to give them the resources. Here's a small one. Maybe this will balance out all my tipping. So what is the dealio here? So either this is a nuke we transferred. 1, 2, 3. This is a smaller nuke. Not robbed out either. So they're holding their own. Whether that'll winter or not, I'm not sure. Guess time will tell. Typically something like that I would have shaken out, but because it was a fresh nuke we started and I transferred into a single deep, they're gonna get a chance. Maybe that young queen will get them through, and then I'll be able to use that resource to maybe make a queen replacement somewhere. Two more, just because I'm in a good mood today. The bees are looking really good. Three-quarter box of these. With a garbage box. Holy moly, they're heavy. Here's a box of bees. Dripping from the frames. So that makes me happy. So as we pull the strips, I'm going to be taking a random sample for mites, just to make sure we don't have any lingering problems. And we're going to follow up the oxalic, just to mop up that inconsistency with, you have colonies, and especially when you're treating with a product that maybe is losing its effectiveness, of colonies with no mites, other colonies with residing mites. And I want to mop up all those corners, and I'll do that with oxalic. These colonies will be basically broodless now, so there should be no place for those little bastards to hide. Give them a blast, and if we have time, if the weather permits it, we'll give them 2 blasts, but we'll get them around once anyways. So that feeding program, I put a lot of emphasis, and I get a lot of comment and question about that, about what my feed supplements are that I'm using, and whether or not you're going to use the same supplement that I am. Bottom line is you got to buy into that program. You're just providing some of that supplement to provide the nutrition they need to develop out these nests. And we're not in any way trying to replace pollen, but we're trying to complement the pollen coming in. In the fall, after the honey flow, I slap as much protein down as I can. As you can see, I was putting 2 pounds, followed up with another pound or another 2 pounds of protein. And the idea there is, as that nest is starting to shrink because there's less resource out there, the year is getting long, and the queen is slowing down. We just want to kind of nudge that nest a little bit further into the fall. So we provide her with that stimulus, all that bulk protein, everything we think she needs, the supplements, added supplements, and push them another 2 weeks, another 3 weeks into the fall. Try to jolt that nest into something absolutely terrific. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here, is a very well-fed, well-nourished, well-set-up winter nest. And as we drift into September, things end off. So I end off all my supplemental feeding because I want them to shut down at that time. So I'm kind of following the same cue as the queen. I'm just pushing her, just nudging her ahead just by a couple weeks or 3 weeks. And then I just lay the syrup to them, plug them out, stop them. So they're ready for winter now. If we've had a winter storm now, it wouldn't matter any difference. Our treatments are done, our feeding is done, and now we can get into these colonies and take advantage of this late fall broodless period, which is natural to them, and try to get rid of anything that might be remaining in regards to some mites. It's a sound strategy. It's what I've been doing for a little while, and it works very well. But you just gotta complement what's going on within the yards and just nudge things one way or the other. That's all we're trying to do. Yep. Back to work. Down to -9, but we're looking at nice weather ahead, so that is good. We've actually had a really nice fall so far. It's allowed us to get all of our work done and stay caught up, and if not, just a little bit ahead of the jobs. And that makes just a mountain of difference, especially this year when we are behind right from the get-go. So I'm adding up all my work ahead, and things seem to be working through quite tickety-boo. And it gets me to planning a little bit. We're heading into the fall. Another thing about fall for me is it starts the whole convention season. And I've been requested to speak at a few conventions this fall, this winter, this coming spring. The first one coming up is in Kamloops, BC. And when Jeff originally contacted me to speak at this convention, I said I can't make it out because first off, we're behind in the season for timelines, and I make a rule when I do these types of things, and even this YouTube project, is I put my work first, always, every time. And everything comes out afterwards. So I told Jeff, no, I won't be able to make it out to that because we're likely going to be combining still. So he figured he would put me online. So I have a presentation I'm going to put online. Should be a good one. I'm going to speak on the difficulties I had. Well, I'm going to start in the middle of summer during that drought, because that's when it all started, and then talk how I manage the weather conditions all through the summer, into the fall, through the winter, the spring, into this next summer, and how I've set things up this fall. So I'm going to talk about the weather and my management around all that incremental weather that we've had. Just absolutely nuts. But now I've been able to take just a little bit of a breath, and I'm thinking maybe I might be able to actually make it out to Kamloops. I won't know till this weekend. I have a few things I have to get in line before I make that decision, and I asked Jeff, I said, hey, what about me actually showing up to your convention here? And he said, whatever you can do, Ian. So we will see. Sandy, of course, is kicking my shins. Like, I make a rule that I don't fly without my wife, and there's reason for that. That reason being nervous flyer, and the other reason is the same reason why you have a best man at a wedding, just to push you up on stage. Otherwise you will get the heck out of Dodge. So that's why I bring my wife, and that is the deal, and she doesn't mind that whatsoever. So she figures I should go, but I have to make sure I have a few things here on the farm ready before I make that decision. the next convention I'll be speaking at, which I agreed to attending, and I agreed to attending this quite a while ago. I'm going to Illinois. I think the town or the city's called Springfield that we're actually speaking in. We'll be talking to that state association. So I'm looking forward to that too. Time is creeping up to me. I have to buy the plane tickets for that one. I'll probably do that today. Just now that my mind is shifting off harvest, I got to start thinking about all these commitments I've made. Boy, oh boy. It's been a long time since I spoke in front of a crowd. I wonder which Ian is going to show up.